There's a moment almost nobody prepares you for. It's the moment you finally save your first $10,000. And instead of feeling powerful, you feel confused. You open your bank app. You see the number. You pause for a second. And then you think, that's it? No dramatic change in your life. No sudden freedom. No upgrade in status. You still wake up early. You still go to work. You still hesitate before certain purchases. And quietly, a dangerous thought appears. Maybe this wasn't worth it. Because everywhere you look, $10,000 is framed as a big deal, a milestone, a turning point. Yet when you reach it, it feels strangely underwhelming. And that feeling isn't a failure. It's the clue most people miss. I'm the gentleman behind Top Hat Money. I don't chase trends. I don't sell shortcuts. I observe how money actually behaves. And money doesn't move the way most people expect. It doesn't grow linearly. It doesn't reward effort immediately. And it certainly doesn't change your life the moment you hit a round number. Instead, wealth grows in stages, invisible thresholds that quietly alter how the game works. Your first $10,000 is one of those thresholds, but not because of what it buys, because of what it unlocks. Most people believe money improves life by upgrading comfort, a nicer car, a better apartment, more flexibility, more options. But that's not what your first $10,000 is designed to do. If you try to use it that way, it will feel useless, because it is useless for that purpose. $10,000 is not lifestyle money. It's stability money. And stability doesn't feel exciting. It feels quiet. That's why people underestimate it. To understand this, imagine building wealth like pushing a massive stone uphill. At the beginning, the stone barely moves. You're pushing with everything you've got, but progress feels invisible. Every dollar saved feels small. Every sacrifice feels heavy. Every delay feels frustrating. This is the hardest phase, not because it's complex, but because it's discouraging. Your first $10,000 is the moment the stone finally starts to respond. Not dramatically, not effortlessly, but enough that gravity begins to shift. Enough that momentum becomes possible. Before this point, your brain operates in survival mode. In survival mode, money decisions aren't strategic, they're defensive. You don't ask, is this smart long-term? You ask, can I afford this right now? You avoid risks that could help you grow because failure feels dangerous. You accept bad deals because waiting feels unsafe. You choose certainty over opportunity every time. This isn't a lack of discipline. It's biology. A brain focused on survival cannot plan for growth. And that's the real reason your first $10,000 matters. Not because it makes you rich, but because it begins to turn survival mode off. When survival mode begins to fade, something subtle happens. The noise quiets. You don't notice it immediately. There's no announcement, no dramatic shift. But one day, you realize something feels different. Before, every unexpected expense felt like a crisis. A broken phone could ruin your entire month. A car repair felt like a threat to your stability. Now, those same events feel smaller. Annoying, yes. Inconvenient, absolutely. But no longer catastrophic. This is the first real effect of your first $10,000. Not excitement, not freedom. Stability. And stability is invisible until you've lived without it. Here's where many people get confused. They look at their bank account and think, this money isn't doing anything. But it is. It's doing something far more important than buying things. It's changing how your brain processes risk. When your mind is no longer scanning for immediate danger, it finally has room to think ahead. Instead of asking, how do I survive this month? You begin asking, how do I improve the next 5 years? That single shift quietly separates people who build wealth from people who stay stuck reacting to life. Think of it like this. Before $10,000, you're playing defense. Every move is about avoiding mistakes. After $10,000, you can finally play offense. Not recklessly, but intentionally. Your attention changes. You stop obsessing over tiny expenses. Not because they don't matter, but because you finally understand scale. You realize that a $3 coffee won't decide your future, but choosing the wrong car, the wrong apartment, or the wrong debt absolutely will. Your focus moves upward, towards decisions that actually compound over time. This is also where many people misunderstand investing. They expect $10,000 to produce something visible. But early investing isn't about production, it's about positioning. An 8% return on $10,000 won't impress anyone. It's not supposed to. What it does is teach you how it feels to let money sit still, to let it grow slowly, and to resist touching it when nothing exciting is happening. That patience is rare, and rare skills are valuable. If you're listening to this and realizing no one ever explained money this way to you before, that's not an accident. Most content focuses on shortcuts, hype, or quick wins. But real wealth is built quietly by people who understand what matters early, before the numbers get big. If learning how money actually works, without noise, without pressure, feels valuable to you, then following Top Hat Money makes sense. Not because we promise fast results, but because we focus on helping you think clearly, long before most people do. Now there's another shift that happens after your first $10,000, and it shows up somewhere unexpected: your work. Before this milestone, your job owns your attention. You need the paycheck. You avoid friction. You stay quiet when you shouldn't. Afterwards, the dynamic changes. You may never quit your job, but it stops owning you in the same way. Your posture changes. Your tone changes. Your decisions become calmer. And calm confidence is rare. That's why it gets noticed. This is where the change becomes visible to other people. Not in your bank account, but in how you show up at work. Before your first $10,000, your relationship with your job is fragile. You need the paycheck. You need the approval. You need things to stay exactly as they are. That need shapes your behavior. You hesitate before asking for a raise. You avoid difficult conversations. You tolerate situations you shouldn't, because leaving feels dangerous. Even when you don't realize it, people can sense that dependence. And dependence is a weak negotiating position. After $10,000, something shifts. Not because you plan to quit, but because you could. You now have what I like to call walking away energy. You don't announce it. You don't threaten anyone with it. But it's there. And that changes how you speak, how you listen, and how you decide. You ask better questions. You push back calmly. You stop agreeing to things that don't make sense. Ironically, this is often when opportunities appear. Better projects, more respect, sometimes more money. Not because you demanded it, but because you stopped operating from fear. Now let's talk about the math, without turning this into a lecture. The reason your first $10,000 feels slow is simple. Early on, you do almost all the work. Your savings matter far more than your returns. If you invest $10,000 and earn 8%, you make about $800 in a year. That's not impressive. But here's what matters. That $800 didn't require extra effort from you. And next year, it grows on top of everything else. This is the moment where the workload begins to shift. Very slowly at first. Think of it like this. Your first $10,000 proves you can push the stone uphill. Your second $10,000 arrives faster, not because you worked harder, but because the stone is already moving. By the time the numbers get large, the process feels unfair in your favor. But that advantage only exists if you protect the early foundation. That's why the first milestone matters so much. Most people never experience this acceleration. They keep resetting themselves back to zero. They save, they spend, they feel proud, they start over. From the outside, it looks like progress. From the inside, it's exhaustion. Wealth isn't built by dramatic moments. It's built by refusing to interrupt momentum. There's also a quiet psychological shift that happens here. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and you start asking, "Is this worth it?" That question changes everything. It forces you to think in opportunity cost. A purchase is no longer just money spent. It's time delayed, freedom postponed, options traded away. This doesn't make life less enjoyable. It makes choices intentional. And intentional people tend to get ahead. Your first $10,000 doesn't make you rich. It makes you dangerous, in the best possible way. Because now you understand how momentum works. And once you understand momentum, you stop chasing excitement and start respecting patience. There's one mistake that destroys the power of the first $10,000. And it's not investing wrong. It's not choosing the wrong account. It's not missing a market rally. It's celebration. The moment people hit that number, they feel the urge to prove it. A better car, a nicer apartment, a visible upgrade. Something that says, "I made it." But here's the uncomfortable truth. The first $10,000 isn't a reward, it's a tool. And tools lose their power when you turn them into trophies. This is why so many people look successful and feel financially fragile. Their money exists outside of them, not for them. Every upgrade raises the cost of their life, but not the quality of their options. They don't realize it, but they're selling future freedom to buy present validation. And validation's expensive. The people who actually build wealth do something boring at this stage. They keep living the same way. Not forever, not out of fear, but out of respect for momentum. They understand that this number, $10,000, isn't impressive because of what it buys. It's impressive because of what it protects. Your time, your choices, your ability to say no. Here's the paradox. The less your lifestyle changes, the faster your financial life improves. Because growth compounds when pressure stays low. When your expenses don't rise, every dollar you earn has a job. And that job is expansion. This is also why comparison becomes dangerous right here. You'll see people online spending more, traveling more, upgrading faster. And for a moment, you'll wonder if you're doing something wrong. You're not. They're optimizing for attention. You're optimizing for control. Those paths don't look the same in the beginning, but they end very differently. If this video made you think differently about money, even slightly, I want to ask you something. In the comments, answer this honestly. What would change in your life if money stopped feeling urgent? Not unlimited wealth, not luxury, just the absence of pressure. Would you make different decisions, have different conversations, take different risks? Write it down. Because once you can name it, you can start building toward it intentionally. And if this kind of thinking feels rare on YouTube, that's exactly why Top Hat Money exists. No hype, no promises, just clear ideas that help you see the game before most people do. If you want to keep building that perspective, subscribe for more.